Get it? Two Pox. It's a reference to the title. I'm pretty sure you saw the title of this video prior to playing it. Welcome. It's Alex Will 64 here, and this is the tale of Tupac divided into two Pacs. Ambitions as an actor. So we're going to get into that. But before I do, I'm here to, also promote my holography podcast. It's on Spotify. It's on Anchor FM, which is the parent website for that. And check me out. You should probably be able to, get to my podcast through Apple Podcasts. Like for those of you that have an Apple phone or Apple device, you just click on the podcast icon or app and type in holography and you'll find me on there. Check me out. I got some stuff. They're usually, like an hour long episodes, you know what I'm saying, where I dig into different aspects of this approach to the sciences and arts and consciousness or knowledge known as holography, and that's with a W. So the holography podcast, hosted by me, Alex Will. Do check me out. Listen to me while you're at work or, while you're at the gym or whatever. You might come to some insights. Give me a shot. Give me a chance. You know what I'm saying? So let's get right down into it because I know how provocative the title is, and it's supposed to be that way. Because, and let me give a disclaimer. If Tupac Shakur is your favorite rapper, or he's a rapper that you love to listen to, and he can do no wrong in your eyes, and he's your your lyrical rap hero, he's your Black Messiah and all that stuff. This may not be the video for you at this point in time in your life. You know what I'm saying? You may want to wait until you mature a little bit more and being more accepting of the truth, the truths around you, like the truth of the way things actually are. So you may want to hold off on watching this if he's your favorite rapper. You like Dear Mama, you like Hail Mary, come with me. If you know what I'm saying, and then you have a problem internally when people have a criticism about them, this may not be the video for you. Okay, so I have a rap here, and before I tell you who it is, maybe you probably recognize the rap. Here it goes. They're all actors, looking at themselves in the mirror backwards. Can't even face themselves. Don't fear no rappers. They're all weirdos, DeNiros in practice. So don't believe everything your earlobe captures. It's mostly backwards. Unless it happens to be as accurate as me and everything said in song you happen to see, then actually believe half of what you see, none of what you hear, even if it's spat by me. Do you know who rapped that? That's Jay-Z, actually. And he rapped this on the song Ignorant from the album American Gangster. You know what I'm saying? So, that album that he did for the movie American Gangster. And what's interesting about, before we get into this, just dealing with that, I hope you paid attention to the lyrics of that song. I'm going to paste the lyrics in the description section of this video. It's interesting with Jay-Z and when that movie came out, American Gangster, and how he felt that he related so well with Denzel Washington's character Frank Lucas. Like, just go back and research that, where he Jay-Z, he was saying, and obviously if he comes out with his own soundtrack to the film, there was already an American Gangster soundtrack. You know what I'm saying? But he came out with a whole album based on his, relation, or his, his correlated life to that of Frank Lucas. You know what I'm saying? But by the end of this video, I would say that, no, I don't think he was comparing himself to Frank Lucas himself. I think he was comparing himself more to Denzel Washington. And you're going to find out why as we go along in this video. But before we start, gotta bring in some popcorn, and I got a bowl that I'm going to pour the popcorn in there. Yeah, get it real good in there. Something fell on my pants. Hold on. It's all colorful. Look at the colors on it. It's called Easter egg hunt popcorn. Oh, you ever look around before you eat something that falls on your shirt? You don't want people to be, you know what I'm saying? You know, people be nosy. They be watching. It's important that I eat popcorn during this video because I want you to get into the mode with me that this is all entertainment. So if it's entertainment, and that's what it's supposed to be, why not indulge? Some tea to sip it down. But you're not here to watch me eat. You're here to watch me say what I have to say about the character. And oh yes, the character in the title of this video. So this all begins for me surfing YouTube. You know what I'm saying? I'm a YouTube junkie. You know, I'm not on Instagram like that anymore. I'm not on Facebook like that, posting stuff for y'all. So I guess I got to deal with my fix somehow. You know what I'm saying? I'm not saying I'm exempt from social media because there was a time that me and a friend that I had back then where he was adamant about not getting on Facebook or MySpace or none of that. And this was like going back to like 2007. You know what I'm saying? Like back when MySpace was like really a thing and Facebook was coming in to, you know, take over that spot from MySpace. And he was adamant about not creating an account on any of these social media apps. And I was following suit with that. I never wanted to be on Facebook. I never wanted to be on MySpace. However, this woman I was dating at the time, she, you know, kind of used her wiles on me and convinced me to create a MySpace account. And, you know, I kind of been messed up ever since, you know what I'm saying? So I ain't going to say I'm different from you, like, you know, I'm trying to be like this guy where I'm above social media. No, because obviously I'm still on YouTube. And, you know, you get into my podcast, that's where I really want you to, you know, deal with my content on that podcast, the holography podcast. You know what I'm saying? You're going through social media, or at least you're dealing with the internet to get to my work and my content. So I ain't gonna sit here and act like I'm more conscious than thou when I've been on social media this whole time, you know, since 2007. So, you know what I'm saying? I just want to put that out there. But this starts with, you know, surfing YouTube and coming across these videos that are quite entertaining. Deserving of another popcorn. They're entertaining because they're considered conspiracy theory videos. And that's a good popcorn. They get stuck between your teeth like the popcorn shell gets stuck between your teeth and goddamn. Besides the point. You're surfing this YouTube, and I'm looking for some entertainment, you know what I'm saying? So I come across, you know, just a plethora, a multitude, a cornucopia of these conspiracy theory videos. And it's these videos that are constructed to, you know, expose something about, you know, the government, the entertainment industry, sports, news, fake news, this type of thing, celebrities and stuff like that. And it's entertaining. You know what I'm saying? I find entertainment from it. You know what I'm saying? But the thing is, which of these conspiracy videos are the people that make them? Like, which of these videos are just here for entertainment, or they're really doing some detective work? Because in the previous video that I just did on my YouTube channel, the video where I reviewed season 3 of Atlanta and Kendrick Lamar's Mr. Morale, the Big Steppers album, I went into a lengthy diatribe or a discussion about being a detective, like dealing with the whole Twin Peaks, David Lynch type of thing, where he was actually playing a detective in his own show, like an FBI detective. So I love detective work. You know what I'm saying? Picture me in a Sherlock Holmes trench coat with my hand in my pocket, and I got a pipe, and I'm smoking the pipe, and I'm like, that's interesting. and I'm distinguished. I always got gray hair coming out of my nose and my beard or whatever. Don't tell nobody. No, I don't fake my age. You know what I'm saying? I am as old as I am. And I just love detective work. I love sleuthing. I love doing my due diligence. So when dealing with these conspiracy theory videos, I'm always trying to see like how depthical the person is in their research or their making connections between things. You know what I'm saying? Because the entertaining factor of a conspiracy theorist video is their paranoia and also how amateur their detective work was and whatever they're trying to expose to you. You know what I'm saying? Trying to expose a celebrity or expose the government doing something or aliens or something like that. And I get an enjoyment kick off of that. Like it's entertaining just to see like, somebody trying to act woke or conscious or act like they're in the know about things and really they're not. They've done no real detective work, you know what I'm saying? But just recently, which is the reason why I'm making this video, I came across a channel known as the Industry Hoax Revealed. It's on YouTube, and I'm going to put the link for the playlist that I want you to focus on. I mean, go ahead and watch all the videos, but it's going to be a particular playlist that we're going to focus on. And when I watched it, it was a rabbit hole for sure. A rabbit hole for sure. Now, I'm kind of upset with myself just a little bit. Get a popcorn and make me feel better a bit. I'm upset with myself because as I was watching this playlist of conspiracy videos on this channel, Industry Hoax Revealed, the stuff that was being told on there or shown or being talked about, see, this is, you gotta chew your food and not eat it. I hate that. That's, disregard that. I'm not disgusting. I'm a clean, proper gentleman type. Like, you know what I'm saying? I keep my house clean. It's clean in here. You see some papers behind me, but I'm a writer. Sometimes it gets messy. It was things in those videos that I should have known because I heard of them before. But in these videos, the guy was putting them together, or whoever was working on these videos, they put things together in such a way that I was impressed. And the impressive way and the excellent way that knowledge and that information was put together, I have no choice but to kind of lean towards what they were trying to show or what they were saying. Because there's going to be people who are going to watch those videos and they're going to automatically be in denial about what's being told in them. They're going to automatically be in denial. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to accept it. But the overwhelming evidence of their detective work cannot be denied on any scale. Now, again, it was a rabbit hole, and it was like, I have so many questions now. I have so many inquiries now about everything. I was just trying to be entertained, eating my popcorn, you know what I'm saying? And let me chew my food. I have so many questions. Now, this isn't a video to where, I'm sitting here trying to focus on exposing the government or nothing like that. I'm only here to ask questions. Because, again, I love detective work. And when I find videos on YouTube that show me some detective work, I appreciate it because I don't always come across them. It's hard to find these videos. I wish that my home feed on YouTube showed me nothing but these type of videos. I'm always getting this flack or this malarkey. No, bring me the detective work. So, going down this rabbit hole, Tupac hoax. Industry Tupac hoax revealed. Impressive. Very impressive. Very impressive. And the fact that it deals with Tupac Shakur is not even the whole of the story. It makes you ask questions about a great deal of things, not even really, I would say not even involving this rapper. Check it out. But before we get into that actual list of videos, I want to introduce to you a word that you may have not heard before, or reintroduce it to you, or let you know that this is what we're going to be discussing. Is the concept of kayfabe? Kayfabe. That's the vocabulary word today. Look it up. Get more familiar with it. Kayfabe, which is a something that they get from the wrestling world. Like, didn't you grow up like me? Like, we love watching wrestling, like the Worldwide Federation, or the World Wrestling Federation, and then the World Championship. I forgot WCW. I forgot the acronym for that. And even the lesser known federations or groups or whatever. Sabu. Some of y'all know the wrestler Sabu. That was one of my favorite wrestlers. But obviously Undertaker, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, The Rock. You know what I'm saying? The Bushwick. What was they called? A Bushwick. I forgot what it was called. The dudes with the red shoulder pads with the spikes. I like them too. Ultimate Warrior, Ted DiBiase, like them type of wrestlers. But they were all operating under a programming known as kayfabe, or a protocol known as kayfabe, where it's not real. They were following a storyline, and they were following that. And the wrestling wasn't that real, because that started to come out to people like, you growing up as a kid, you don't know if this wrestling is real. You think it's all real. But it's actually not. They follow a script and they have to work that script, and it's all really kind of an act. But it's more like it's reality mixed with fiction when it comes to kayfabe, which is, again, this is how the wrestling world works. So it was no surprise that they changed WWF to WWE. So it was the World Wrestling Federation, and then it became World Wrestling Entertainment. Very key. Did not say this word at the beginning of the video. It's entertainment. I'm like the young Mike Jackson in a Thriller video. Where you going? Why you leaving? This is entertaining. So they changed it. They had to make sure that they were following making sure that, because their kids would sit here and emulate what they saw on TV. There was even the Dave Chappelle stand up for what it's worth, the one he did back in 2004, where he was talking about some black kid. He did a wrestling move that he seen on WWF. He was 15, the whole bit, how old is 15 really. He did a wrestling move on his friend and killed his friend. He didn't mean to do it. He was emulating what he saw on TV because he thought it was real and he wanted to emulate that. So it was these cases that kept piling up where the WWF was like, nah, we got to change federation to entertainment. This is entertainment, y'all. We this is fake. This ain't real. They follow a script. Some of the wrestlers are faces and some of them are heels. So the faces are the wrestlers that are, the heroes of the story. You know what I'm saying? They're what the fans cheer on, and you know what I'm saying, they get the good side of the fans and the people in the stands. Then you have the heels, which this would be like your Hunter Hearst Helmsley, like your Triple H's and stuff. Or they're the enemies, they're the villains of the wrestling world. So you're supposed to boo them. Boo. We don't like Triple H. So that's the way that whole thing works. And then you also have storylines where faces become heels and heels become faces. So you have writers on this show known as the WWE now. They pen the script on who's going to win on Monday Night Raw, or who's going to win SummerSlam, or who's going to win the Royal Rumble. It's written. But as a kid, you don't know that. You think it's real. Like, you think Undertaker actually did the tombstone one and broke the dude's neck. No, it's written like that. It's faked. Yes, they're athletes, but the athleticism that they're doing is still part of a staged theatrical play. It's written. And evidently you have, psychologists and writers in the room who are trying to look for the type of effect they want from the audience. You know what I'm saying? They're taking the audience on an emotional roller coaster through these wrestling shows. You think your favorite wrestler is going to win, or you think he's going to lose to the bad guy wrestler, the villain wrestler. But nah, it's written that way so that at the last minute, you know, the heel or excuse me, the face or the hero wrestler gets back his momentum and finally lays the smackdown on the villain wrestler and wins. That's all written. That's kayfabe. But the question now is kayfabe just in the world of wrestling? Does it extend beyond wrestling? Is the same concept, let's say, is the same concept, can that be found in the news? Can that be found in politics? Can that be found in all athletic sports? Like, is it just wrestling where they do kayfabe? What about in football and basketball and golf? Is that scripted too? Is that a play, a theatrical play? And everybody involved, especially when you're dealing with athletes that have some sort of personality about them. You know what I'm saying? Some sort of some sort of charm or like something they do that gives them some sort of attraction to the from their fans or whatever. Like it really gives them this larger than life personality. Like, is that written? So is the athlete more the actor than the actual professional athlete? So that means you got to go back through all the football games you watched. Was it staged? Did someone write a script? They wrote a script, and then everybody on both teams of on the football field, including the coaches, they all have to follow a script. So it's not real. We're not looking at real competition. They have to follow a script. And this also brings me to something called Freakonomics. This book called Freakonomics is a play on the word economics. It's called Freakonomics. I forgot the authors. Remind me. I don't know how you can remind me. Maybe you could just leave a comment on this post. If you don't see in the description section of this video a link to the book or the title of the book, just remind me and I'll put it in there. Freakonomics. So it's this book where these two researchers, they go into different industries or different types of businesses, whether they're legal or illegal, and try to find like these quirky or hidden aspects of the business or of the economics, and why is it quirky or why is it hidden? Like, for example, they started studying Japan's sumo wrestling federation, or their sumo league. The big fat Japanese guys that wrestle or try to push themselves out the ring. And they found out that to keep the money flowing into the shows of people coming in, because it's not about competition. It's about getting people in the seats and getting paid off of the seats that they are filling. So it's not about athleticism at the end of the day in that league. It's all about who can, like, for example, who can bring people to the stadium or to watch them fight. So it's a business before it is a contest of athleticism. So you have sumo wrestlers that would lose on purpose just to keep another sumo wrestler within the tournament or the league. Especially if that sumo wrestler has a high rating with people. Because they need to keep him in there because he is a personality that brings people to come and watch him fight. So regardless of if he's the best sumo wrestler or not, it's the fact that he's filling seats and making money for the league. So they're all in cahoots with each other so that they all can make money. It's not about winning or athleticism. It's about making money. Now, this also brings us into the world of politics, because what we notice with some of these wrestlers is that they become politicians. Jesse Ventura, like he was also an actor, like he was in the movie Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who went on to become in the 2000s governor of California. How you have this Austrian guy become the governor of California? And you got Kane, who was said within the play of the wrestling entertainment or World Wrestling Entertainment, he was not even Undertaker's brother. It's not his real brother, or at least we don't know that. But according to the WWE script, they're brothers. The fact that his nickname is Kane, whoever the actual man that's playing the wrestler, the whole thing with Cain and Abel. So they called him Kane. They switched the Cain to Kane and played on that thing of, Cain and Abel, Cain slaying Abel and that type of thing. It was a script. It's not real. So you as a wrestler, you're training yourself to take those type of hits to make them look real as possible, but not so real that you actually get hurt. But again, this is still, they're still wrestling in a sense. But again, there's a purpose, or how can I say this? There's a goal to reach by the end of the wrestling match. So if Undertaker is going to win, no matter how many times they're trading blows with each other and slamming each other, Undertaker has to win by the end of the night. That's what the script dictates. But going back to my point with politicians, like, how does an Austrian bodybuilder become the governor of California? Is this a joke? No, it's kayfabe. No. It's kayfabe. It's part of a script. So, me being philosophical and depthical, should I laugh? Is this for entertainment? Even when they try to be so serious about this. Now, you want me to take this seriously that an Austrian bodybuilder is the governor of California? Huh? So where did Arnold Schwarzenegger get his political acumen? So you saying he's more qualified to be in that position as governor than all the politicians who have been in office out there in California doing whatever type of job they was doing within the political sphere or in the government? So you saying he's more qualified than them? Like, do you expect me to take you seriously at that point? That's what I'm trying to say. And then just going back through the presidency, like the whole Ronald Reagan, he was an actor. Now that's not to say you can't have a career as an actor and then what I'm saying you know what I'm saying, you can still be qualified as a politician. Just because you acted in some movies doesn't mean that you cannot be politically conscious and strive for some sort of a better world or a better whatever you do in politics, like you try to better your community or make sure you're getting a cut or a slice of the pie, whatever they're doing in politics. It doesn't mean that you can't be political and an actor. But what we're seeing is the lines are starting to blur. They're blurring. What if being a politician requires you to be an actor? I'm like, so am I supposed to take you serious? And then there's this, and Kane himself. He used to wear the mask and he used to have that, when he used to talk, he's, I'm coming for you, Undertaker. He became a politician. Like the dude that played Kane, he became a politician over there in his hometown, I guess, or his county or wherever he's from. So I'm like, okay, how does Kane become a politician? Do you want Kane to be your alderman or your senator? I don't know. Because I guess he would take his fandom, and because he has that fandom, he can transfer his fandom over to the world of politics. And, you know what I'm saying, he can win a vote in whatever they're voting for, who's going to be the politician, right? And then there's this article, this New York Times article that reads, or the title of it is, How Wrestling Explains Alex Jones and Donald Trump. Donald Trump has been quite the actor. He was in that Home Alone 2 movie. He's been on the wrestling. He was on the Apprentice show. And I'm like, popcorn. Is politics wrestling? Is politics this kayfabe thing? Is politics following a script? Should I take politics seriously now? Because you got, you know what I'm saying, you got Donald Trump in the wrestling ring slapping people up. You had Snoop Dogg in the ring slapping people up, choking them and stuff, fighting them. Then you have The Rock, who becomes one of the, the greatest action stars of today. You know what I'm saying? He's like in the biggest action movies now. You know what I'm saying? Dwayne The Rock Johnson. John Cena, he's playing a peacemaker. He was in the second reiteration or iteration of the Suicide Squad. Not Suicide Squad, the Suicide Squad. Not to say they cannot be in movies. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, LeBron James was just in the Space Jam movie. So, not to say they cannot be in movies. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is it a script? So you look at the whole political arena. Are people following some written script, and it's not real in the sense that, they're not really for the people. They're just there to follow script. They're acting out a political role for whatever purpose. So you have the conspiracy theorist Alex Jones, for example, how he provokes a lot of people based on what what he talks about in his podcasts and his shows or whatever. It's always loud, it's raspy, it's almost as like he's going up against the government. But again, is he following a script? Was that written? Was Donald Trump's presidency something that was scripted? Who wrote that? This is where we come to eyes wide shut theater. You know what I'm saying? Popcorn, yum. You don't see if I can catch the popcorn in my mouth? Skill. You're rocking with the best. So if it's eyes wide shut theater, it's all staged. Enjoy it with a bowl of popcorn. What you see on the news? Staged? Written? The news story you just seen earlier today, or yesterday, or the day before that, was it scripted? Was it staged? Was it real? Can you trust the news that you listen to? Is the news corporation that you listen to on a regular, where you get your news, Apple News, you know what I'm saying, or Reuters, if that's how you pronounce it, CNN, Fox, what was it, BBC, Yahoo News, Google News, or whatever. Are they after ratings more than they're after true stories? Are they trying to just capture your attention for something? Is it scripted? Because if it's staged and it's scripted, why are you getting emotionally swayed left and right? You should be having a bowl of... Let me pour some more popcorn in here. It's not enough. Pour some more popcorn. Yeah. Why should you be emotionally swayed this way and that? Why can't you just sit back with your bowl of popcorn and enjoy? You crying, you scared over something you saw in the news. What if it was scripted to get you afraid? Or to sway you to do this, or sway you to do that, or keep you from doing this? Is the news kayfabe? So that brings in the whole thing of crisis actors. If it's eyes wide shut theater, where you go just like Tom Cruise, where you just out in the night, just doing whatever, just exploring the nighttime. You get, you get to this mansion party, and you see some buck wildness. That should be in the vocab of this generation. Buck wildness. You in there seeing buck wildness up in there. They got their mask on, doing some buck wildness in the night. Is anything real after that? So it brings us in the whole thing about crisis actors. So you think all the news that you watch and all the people being interviewed, you think all of them are just people on the street, or that they witness a real crime, or they witness whatever. You ever stop to think if they're just hired to say what they saying on the camera? You ever thought that? You never consider that? Like they're being paid, or whatever they're doing is usually getting paid. Like you're being paid to be in front of the camera to say some scripted lines and make it seem like you were a part of the event that the news is covering. This brings us to a very important movie that you probably should have watched by now if you're so-called woke, or you like knowledge and consciousness and stuff like that. Wag the Dog, directed by Barry Levinson. I think it came out in 1997 or 98, one of them. And it stars Robert De Niro and Dustin Hoffman. And Robert De Niro's character, he plays this guy, Conrad, and he's a spin doctor. So he's called in by these officials at the government to spin a story to distract people from the president's allegations of him having, relations with an underage woman or an underage girl. And the funny thing is that this came out before, if I'm not mistaken, this movie came out before the whole Bill Clinton, Monica Lewinsky thing. I don't want to go into detail. You can research it yourself. But it came out right before them. So they call in Conrad, played by Robert De Niro, and they hire him to create a story or a script for the news so that they can divert the attention away from the president, because they want the current president to stay in office. You know what I'm saying? But there's this other political party that wants, this senator guy who wants to be the president. So he's like the senator is sitting here, being in the news talking about how, the current president is embroiled in this scheme or this crime or this scandal, and he should be removed from office. So the current people that work for the current president, they call in Conrad to come and spin a story. So his job is to create fake news. Yeah, they made a movie about this. And what Robert De Niro's character, Conrad, he and the woman, the official, they go to Hollywood to meet up with Dustin Hoffman's character, who is a Hollywood producer. He's a producer. Popcorn moment. So Dustin Hoffman is being hired to produce the story. Hire actors, hire directors, hire special effects people. All the people you need for a Hollywood movie production. So what's very interesting here, though, there's a scene where the actor Kirsten Dunst is in the movie, and this is where they're shooting the fake war. They're creating a fake war so that it can distract them from the scandal of the president. And I would also presume that it's there to make patriots out of the American people again. Because when war comes around, you become a patriot. They want you to rally for the United States again every time that happens. So Kirsten Dunst is hired to be a crisis actor in this fake war production. And what she thinks, she doesn't get what's going on. She's an actress. She's a up and coming, or not an up and coming. She's a struggling actress. Like she just got her foot in the game, and she wants this production credit on her resume. so that she can keep getting more acting roles. But Robert De Niro's character is like, no, you're not allowed to tell anybody you were a part of this production. This is a secret production. You're not allowed to, or you're not permitted to tell anybody you was here. You're supposed to act like this never happened after we do this. Popcorn. And then the lady has Kirsten Dunst sign a security clearance. That was a good one. Where I would presume that it's also a confidentiality agreement where once she signs her name on that dotted line, she doesn't read it, she just signs her name on it, where there are consequences for her revealing that she was a part of this production. And then Robert De Niro says, he straight up tells her, if you tell anybody that you was a part of this, so it brings me to a point. Is it illegal to present entertainment as news? Like, are you permitted by law to, like, you're allowed as a news corporation or someone who does news media, like, you're allowed to put out fake stories, and it's not a crime for you to do that because you're listed under entertainment. So that you're creating entertainment. So if anybody takes it as fact or as real or as truth, then that's on them because you're an entertainment company. Okay. So this brings us now to the tale of Tupac's on the Industry Hoax Revealed channel. I know he your favorite rapper. I know he is, and I warned you at the beginning of this whole thing that if you don't want nobody, you shouldn't watch this if he your favorite, or you bump his music and you are into his poetry and you think he was the Messiah to bring black, he was the God of rap, whatever accolade or whatever title you give him. Tupac was a hell of an actor. Even watching his movies, it's like, yo, this brother can act. He is acting he's acting like he got the emotions down pat and everything. He's convincing as this character. Better than everybody else in the movie. Oscar-winning performances that he was doing in these movies. You know what I'm saying? But going down this rabbit hole on this Industry Hoax Revealed channel, the Black Messiah was a hell of an actor. So, was that scripted? It's a head scratcher. Was that whole thing about him, from the first time we seen him to the last time where he was presumed dead, was he playing a role? Was Tupac a character that whoever that guy was that was playing? You know what I'm trying to say, right? Is Tupac Shakur just a character in a script? So we're looking at look, pay attention to the implications of this. You have a rapper makes, some fire music. Y'all still love his music. Some fire poetry. Y'all think he wrote the poetry. What if all that was fake? I mean, down to what he said he lived in his life. What if all that was scripted? What if all that was written? He didn't really live any of that. He wasn't really about the black. He was none of that. It was all a stage performance. It was all kayfabe. It was a show. It was no different from Monday Night Raw or SummerSlam on pay-per-view. Me and my brothers used to watch that all the time. Every Sunday night we watching, some wrestling. We had all the wrestling toys. We had Sting from WCW. We had Ken Shamrock, Undertaker. Did we have Undertaker? We definitely had Kane. I remember we had Kane, the little action figure. We had the video games, WWF or W. No, it was WWF back in my time. WWF Smack. We had SmackDown. We had all the video games, or some of them. So according to this playlist of videos, Tupac was an actor. They connected so many dots, my friend. My friend. They connected so many dots and put so many different things together. I'm like, yo. You saying he wasn't real? Or whatever he was talking about or rapping about, that wasn't real? Oh. And then how he was presented to us back in the 90s as this Christ-like black messiah rapper that was going to save the hood and the black youth, and he was leading them to consciousness and knowledge, or his thug life thing. And I'm like, yo, you're saying that he was put there just to act that? So when the camera stopped rolling, he can go back to whoever he really is? And this is the first time that I found out that Tupac ain't even this guy's real name. His real name is Lassane. What was his name? Lassane. Who? Do you know anybody named Lassane? Like, come here, Lassane. Come pour me some beer. Lassane? Lassane Parish Crooks. That's his name. Or that's the name that he got before he I guess it was changed to Tupac Shakur. I never knew that. The implication is someone put before you a person or a character that they mapped out, already had a script for him to follow, just like he was on a movie set. And y'all, we believed them. We believed everything about him. Now there was always that that anomaly of people who didn't fall for whatever that acting script was that this person Lassane was doing with the Tupac thing. Because you probably don't even believe me as I'm talking about it now. But should we just treat it all as entertainment? Because as we go along here, I think we were supposed to take him serious. We were supposed to take him as a real thing. Now, for all you Matrix lovers, you do remember that book Simulacra and Simulation by Jean Baudrillard from the first Matrix movie. Um, it's in my mind right now because it's all about how a copy stands in place of the original thing. So if you have what's called a rapper, and then you have an industry afterwards who know how to manufacture a rapper. They know how to put a rapper together for you and put him right in front of your face. He doesn't need to write lyrics, or you know what I'm saying? In truth, he's not writing his own lyrics. He didn't live the life of a gangster. He didn't sell drugs. Never went to prison. It was all staged. It was all written for you to rock with this character that they created. So they know the industry knows how to manufacture characters. Just by the name industry. What are you doing in an industry? You're manufacturing for the most part. So you think it's a manufacturer of music? What if it's a manufacturing of the actual rapper? Because I heard the whole thing of an industry plant. Like I heard this being said of people like Chance the Rapper and Drake like that. You know what I'm saying? They industry plants. And again, Drake was an actor. A Canadian actor. So how does a Canadian actor that never lived any of this stuff that he probably rapping about, how does he become the top rapper in the world right now? What if he's playing an act? He's an actor. That's a dead giveaway. I should be entertained by this. Now you have, some, hardcore hip hop fans, old school hip hop fans, where it's like, you know, he should be writing his own lyrics. Shouldn't be an industry plant. That's not real hip hop. It doesn't sound like real hip hop. But he comes out of an industry. So the lines between streets and industry have been blurred for some time now, especially if Tupac is the same thing as a Drake. You wouldn't put them together, but what if that's exactly what the Tupac is? He's a Drake. Just even supported by the fact that this person we call Tupac Shakur was in acting school back in Baltimore with another actor or actress, Jada Pinkett Smith. So it's you can't sit here and deny me now. Like, he was in acting school. Just what makes him different from Drake now? Nothing makes it different from Drake. He is what Drake is. So this industry knows how to create a rapper. They know how to create a personality. They know how to create a gangster rapper for you to follow behind. They've been creating them since the 90s and maybe earlier. Tupac is the main one. And should I be mad about this? Well, let's keep going. So the same writers writing the movies and TV are the same writers writing the news and publicity stunts. Question mark. I put a question mark. So the same people that are writing your Batman movies and your Marvel Cinematic Universe movies and your these franchise movies, your Matrix, your Lord of the Rings, your did I already say Batman? Your Spider-Man movies. You know what I'm saying? Writing all these movies. What if those same writers are writing the news? Because there's this episode on the Boondocks. We're gonna deal with the Boondocks a couple times because they actually was kind of revealing some things. What was it? Season 3. The last episode, it's going down on the Boondocks TV animated series. And you have a character named Ed Wuncler Sr., and he's sitting here telling you some stuff. It's entertaining to say the least. Every time I say entertainment, I'm going to take a popcorn. I'm going to do that. So he was a part of this plot to destroy one of his towers, one of his buildings, and kill one like a security guard in there who was very famous for his patriotic American stance on things. So the plot was to destroy the building with him in it and make him a martyr or make him a hero. And there was already books and movies plotted out for him after his death. They had T-shirts, they had banners, they had cups, they had all this different merchandise for after he dies, as that building collapses, and then they put him all on the news as the hero or the slain of an attack on that building, so that they can get people back into the American spirit and sell movies, books, and all this stuff based on his death. So it was a fake terrorist attack on a building that collapsed. It was staged. It was written. It was all part of the plan. All in the script. Nobody panics because it's all part of the script. You see what I mean? And I'm like, should I be entertained by this? Why should I have any emotional attachment? But here's the thing: when you go into a movie, is it certain scenes of a movie pulling on your heartstrings? Like, there's a scene in a movie that gets you to, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Get you teared up a little bit. Or is a certain scene in the movie that gets you angry, like, I should go out and do something to somebody? You never felt that in a movie or in a TV show where you were emotionally linking yourself to a character or a situation, maybe because it was a simulation of something that happened to you, or it scared you that, oh, this could happen to me. So what if they're writing your news articles and your news stories and your rappers the same way? So you're hiring actors to act in movies and TV, but you're also hiring actors to act in news events, the music industry, science, and all these different other areas of the world. They're just there to act. What if Neil deGrasse Tyson is just an actor? And again, this isn't me trying to go up against no government, nothing like that. But if you're sitting here giving me entertainment, popcorn, then I'm going to take it as that. I'm not going to take it beyond that. You want me to be afraid? I'm not about to be afraid after the news story go off. If it's entertainment, if it's written, if it's a script, I should treat it as such. Why should I treat it as real life? And then there was this whole thing that came out maybe like a few years ago where it was something being talked about like back in 1993. There was this meeting between these music industry executives and these private prison executives, and they all met up and they were plotting this conspiracy to push gangster music onto the black community or just the youth in general. And the reason for that is the prison industry would make money off of all the youth, or the black and brown youth, as they follow behind whatever rapper is being put in front of them that's promoting prison life, crime, drinking, taking drugs, doing drugs, selling drugs. They're promoting this in their music so that it then influences a generation of kids to prep them and prime them to be in prison. Your man's had Thug Life tatted across the belly. He had bandanas on. He was living a criminal's life. Everybody all of a sudden was acting like they was, in a Goodfellas movie or Scarface. They was acting like they were mob bosses all of a sudden. And what was so obviously in your face is the fact that they had a record label named Death Row Records. Why would you name your record label after a prison, a feature of prison where someone is sentenced to their own death by electric chair or lethal injection or whatever they're going to, snuff that person? The label was called Death Row. So you have a label of artists that were promoting prison culture. And people fell for it. They fell right in line with that prison culture being promoted in their faces all day. And the main person in front of that movement was the Tupac Shakur character. Thug life. What's the backronym for thug life? The hate you give. How does it go? The hate you give. I forgot what the life stand for, but I know the hate you give was there. And I know they made that into a movie like a few years ago dealing with police shooting or something like that. It was called The Hate You Give, and it was based on Tupac's thug life. So he was the main character promoting that prison culture. He even a part of his script, he was there. He was in so-called prison. So if you look at it from a scripting perspective, he was placed in front of people's faces, allegedly, let's say allegedly. He was placed there in front of y'all face, in front of our faces, to get us into wanting to want to live a prison life so that we can end up in prison. And his label is called Death Row. But he was sitting. But here's the thing. Here's where it becomes Tupac's. The whole thing of him being, this Messiah, this Machiavelli, this, Christ figure. So not only according to this Tupac's Hoax list of videos, this playlist of videos, because it's they put it in chapters. So according to that whole list of chapters about this Tupac hoax, not only did they create an industry plant with Tupac, they created a black messiah out of him for all black people and whoever else to follow behind and lead up into that prison life. So these videos was out here revealing certain lyrics that were, it seemed like they were engineered to really program people into wanting to live this prison life culture. You know what I'm saying? And this brings us back into Boondocks, the whole character Gangstalicious. So for any of you Boondocks fans, you have the Gangstalicious episodes. You have, it's called The Story of Gangstalicious Part 1, and then they have Part 2 in Season 2. So it's about this rapper who, come to find out, he's he's undercover. He's an undercover brother, for anybody who knows about that. Like, he's low key, or he's a secret or closeted homosexual. And he doesn't really live the lifestyle that you see in his videos. He's actually a soft-hearted homosexual guy. But he's promoted to be this hardcore thug that got shot, and you know what I'm saying, just hardcore rapper, you know what I'm saying, beefing with other rappers and stuff like that. And the funny thing is about that first episode with Gangstalicious in it in Season 1, they deal with a documentary called Gangstalicious Resurrection. Now, who are they talking about? Didn't they put out a movie called Tupac Resurrection? So now in the Boondocks you have Gangstalicious Resurrection. So this is your Aaron Magruder or whoever, you know what I'm saying, him and his group of writers or whoever. They were talking about Tupac. Obviously now. So the whole episode is Riley, who's infatuated and is a Gangstalicious worshiper. Like, he's a big fan of Gangstalicious. Is like his role model, right? And Gangstalicious he actually does get shot by a few dudes, and he actually is in a hospital where the Boondocks takes place in that city, Woodcrest. So Riley, figures out a way to go to the hospital so that he can meet his favorite rapper. But the episode is about how it's revealing slowly and surely to Riley that Gangstalicious ain't what he seems to be on the videos. And there's a secret meaning to thug and love. Because we find out that the reason he got shot by these dudes is because him and the dude were romantically together. And I guess Gangstalicious cheated on him with another dude or whoever. So that's why he was being shot at. And Riley is observing all this, and he can't even handle it. He's traumatized by it. So when we get to the next episode in Season 2, Gangstalicious, the story of Gangstalicious Part 2, he's in denial about who Gangstalicious is. He hasn't come to terms with the fact that he just saw Gangstalicious kissing another dude. Now go watch, like I said, go watch that Tupac hoax videos, and they do have a chapter where they deal with Tupac and some things about him that you can't deny. The evidence is there. He, you want to say he was bi? You want to? I don't know. All I'm saying is you cannot deny that the evidence is right. It was right there in your face the whole time. But we were being distracted by the whole thug life thing, and you know what I'm saying. Him being a hardcore rapper, a hardcore gangster. It's like he never lived that life. He was in a theater thing with some ballerinas and stuff. Entertainment. I'm gonna try 4 popcorns. You ready? So Aaron Magruder was the creator of the Boondocks, the writer of the Boondocks. He was brazen enough, bold enough to make a satire about hardcore rappers with the main target being Tupac Shakur. I know who your favorite rapper. Or if he ain't your favorite rapper, I know you know somebody who that's their favorite rapper. People grew up off his music. But again, he's a plant. He's what Drake is. But does it just stop at them two now? Because now I gotta look at all the rappers now, especially the ones that have a contract at a label. Because we're talking about kayfabe and scripts. Now we got to look into the whole thing of staged death, where the death wasn't even real. It was it was a production just like a movie, presented as facts or news, where the people that, or the companies and the corporations that present it, they don't have to be, they're not held responsible for what people do based on when they watch that fake news. And then the nose ring and the bandana. Because I've seen dudes with the nose ring. Just going back to the story of Gangstalicious Part 2 of the Boondocks, that episode, you know, at the beginning, like towards the beginning of the episode, Gangstalicious is on this show with Regis Philbin. He's on this news show, or this show with them, and he's doing this fashion show. And slowly but surely, you realize that he's incorporating a lot of feminine fashion choices for his clothing line. You know what I'm saying? Like the whole thing with the pearl necklaces, and then it's a shirt. Remember them long shirts from like the early 2000s? Like them long white tees that reach all the way down to your knees. But for his style, the back of it is cut out where you see the gluteus maximus of the person wearing the long t-shirt. You know what I'm saying? And it looks like they're wearing a skirt in one of the fashion lines, because Tupac did have his own fashion line. A lot of rappers had their own fashion line. And then going back to the same episode, there's a rapper called Booty B Entertainment. His name is Booty B. And he's explaining how, because he like his character is like he's this old 80s rapper. And he was saying that he was doing some homosexual stuff back then in his music. And then he goes on to say that the rap industry is on some homosexuality, because he says, one, rap culture is heavily influenced by prison culture, and he says it's homosexual. Wasn't Tupac trying to promote that to y'all? He had the sagging pants, he had the nose ring, and he had the bandana. Because in those Tupac hoax videos, they show how the way he did his bandana is how women used to wear their bandanas. Or they would wear their bandanas the way it was tied in the front, like, some sort of slave woman or some mammy. He had his bandana tied the same way. Then he had the nose ring. I don't know any dude to wear that before then. That was some women wore, still do. Then he had to see. Here's the thing about the sagging pants, because it's been said numerous times, and I've heard it numerous times, that it comes from prison culture, where you would sag your pants so that I don't even want you know where I'm going with it. So the fact that then you go out in the street, or you're dealing with black men, or just any type, it's not just black men now, because again, the culture that we create, or that we put out there, the world kind of tends to follow behind that, especially through our rap music or our hip hop. So just the whole thing of sagging your pants, men think it's cool. Those type of guys think it's cool to do that. But that's what hip hop is here for, then, I would say, to make things cool. So if you have prison executives saying, well, we need to fill up these prisons, how do we do it? We can't just go out there and just arrest people. I mean, they've been doing that, but that's you can't do that on a large scale. That's not going to fly. So let's influence these people to act a certain way and behave a certain way, so that because of the way they're behaving, we can arrest them. We can get the public to turn against them and say, yeah, they do deserve to be in jail. So now that you got the public against them, now let's get them into the behaviors of prison. Let's make prison look like a fun place to be. You even got rappers now. I was listening to some songs, just like a month ago, where he was saying that you ain't cool, or you're not legit, or we can't take you seriously as a gangster or thug if you ain't been to jail. Huh? You know what they do in jail? That institutionalization. So you telling me, in order for me to seem hard, or to seem like I'm tough, I have to have going to prison. That validates me as a thug or a gangster, or some sort of tough guy, that I had to have done some prison time. As if everybody in prison is tough. And then you was following behind rappers that, how you know they even was in prison? If it's scripted. How you know Tupac was even in jail? Do you have proof that he was even there? But again, y'all take it serious. I take it as entertainment. How else am I supposed to take that? Because if you're creating a Tupac industry plant, or a Drake, or whoever, and you're putting it in front of me, or in front of on TV, on music videos, on the internet, like, you're expecting me to follow behind him? Was that the reason you put him out there, so that people can follow behind that and follow that fake example you put up, so that it can get them sent to prison? No, you're expecting me to follow behind that. Entertainment. And again, Lassane, I never knew Tupac name was Lassane. Where you get that from? Lassane. And then his last name is Crooks. So it's almost like he was meant to be a thug or something, a gangster. Okay, a crook. But does it not stop here? The whole thing where they was trying to prop him up as a black messiah, like he was going to save the black community, he was going to save the hood. That's not a new thing. Because if you go through this guy's channel on YouTube, the industry hoax revealed, Tupac ain't the only person that's being talked about in these videos. Oh, they going as far back as like Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, the Black Panther Party. Ooh, should I keep my mouth shut? Because again, should I be entertained now? Should I be following behind him and being serious about what I'm seeing, or should it just now be entertainment? Because he's literally like the god of hip hop. He's always presented as like this thug angel. I think that's one of his songs. I don't even know. His poetry is studied in college universities around the world. They even had this whole news story where some kid or some guy was presenting Tupac's poetry in a college setting or something like that. And this guy comes from an acting school, the Lassane guy now was called Tupac. But the whole thing about the tale of Tupac is the whole thing of him, doing this whole Gemini thing. You know what I'm saying? Where this also includes Kanye West. It also includes Kendrick Lamar. This whole thing where they doing this dual personality, like part of them is a gangster hardcore thug, and the other part of them is some sort of revolutionary that's here to save black people. Like you keep hearing this thing throughout Kendrick's music. After he put out "To Pimp a Butterfly," that was an album to save the black community. How an album is going to save the black community? Like, should we be looking at Kendrick as the person, the expert on, socio-political, black politics? Like, should he be the person that we looking towards for that? He's just the person that knows how to rap and make music. Why should we be looking to entertainers like him for any type of black liberation or any things of that sort? Even Kanye. Should we be looking at these entertainers as experts on political relations or political science or socioeconomics? Because they're certainly sure put in front of us for that purpose. And they all spout this whole Gemini thing. All three of these rappers, Kanye, Kendrick, Tupac, Geminis. And people will try to play off that saying, well, Tupac contradicted himself. He did the thug life, and he was a rebel because he was a Gemini. What? Huh? I'm entertained. Y'all entertaining me. I'm entertained by this. Yum 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 yum. Yum 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 yum. Yum yum yum. Y'all entertaining me now. I'm entertained. Are you not entertained? But it don't stop at Tupac, do it? No, it don't stop at no Tupac. This guy from Death Row Records. Y'all was following, y'all in love with a rapper that was on Death Row Records, who wind up on Death Row Records, promoting prison culture and crime culture and gangster rap culture or gangster culture. He was y'all messiah. He was y'all hero. But y'all get mad at me or whoever when we have these critical things to say. Because it don't stop at no Tupac. Oh, this guy who did the detective work on the Tupac thing, he took it all the way back to the Black Panther Party. Now, what if I told you that the Black Panther Party was a government creation? I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and hey, this ain't to be going against the government. This ain't that type of video. Because this is me saying, should I be entertained? Should I be entertained by what I'm seeing on the news? Should the Black Panther Party be entertaining me? I mean, you called it a party. As there are a lot of different political factions, they call themselves a party, like the Boston Tea Party. It's a party. Go party. You want to talk about duality and Gemini and stuff like that? Well, it's a party. What if that's exactly what the Black Panther thing is, a party? Go have fun. Preach that black liberation. Yeah, brother. Power to the people. And it was placed in front of you for entertainment. Or on the flip side, it was placed in front of you to lead you astray in some sort of way. What if it was just placed there to create racial tension? Because on the flip side, you have the Ku Klux Klan, and there's even an episode. Oh, there's an episode on the show Black Dynamite, the animated series Black Dynamite, and there's an episode where the Ku Klux Klan and the Black Panthers joined together to stop a black porn star who keeps having his movies keep dealing with interracial relations. Like he keeps his porn is about dealing with white women as a black porn star and white. So the Black Panther Party and the Klan members join up together to keep the races separate. And you had a lot of different figures during the civil rights movement and right afterwards that were kind of promoting that whole keep the races separate thing. Your Malcolm X's, your some of those governors down there in the South or whatever, they was really pushing that. What if it was all just a party? Ain't nothing but a gangster party. That's what your Tupac joint. That's what he was saying. So now you have your Angela Davises and your Nikki Giovanni's. You have all these different figures that are leftovers from the Black Panther Party, and now they're out here doing all types of college dissertations and presentations and all that. And this is no diss towards any of that, but we have to look at this with a critical eye. Because what was also being talked about in that Tupac hoax conspiracy videos thing is that Afeni Shakur, which is Tupac's mom, supposedly, allegedly, she was a part of the Panther 21 trial because she was a Black Panther, right? And these detectives in these videos is like, that was staged. So again, I'm going to look at this political stuff as entertainment. You got actors in it, you got scripts, you got the whole kayfabe thing, you got rappers in it who are sitting here acting like they're for the people when it's really a script. Going all the way back to the 70s and maybe even earlier. So hey, bring your own wokeness. You know what I'm saying? That's how they say bring your own beer, or bring your own beverage to a party. So when it comes to the Black Panther Party, bring your own wokeness. I'm entertained. You see my popcorn. And then all of a sudden, now you started seeing a lot of these, especially during the early 90s when the whole Malcolm X movie came out. And all of a sudden we were getting back into this whole black power thing. That's exactly when your Tupac came out. Or at least came to prominence. Because he came out as a revolutionary, right? The whole Tupacalypse Now album. He had the Four Horsemen on there. He was doing the whole apocalypse thing. And I was, it was wild because it's they were basically doing the same thing they did in Marvel Comics with the whole apocalypse character. He had the Four Horsemen on the album cover with him, the Tupac guy. And that whole album was revolutionary, right? He was talking about Brenda's got a baby and dealing with, black struggles and black community economic, socio-economic issues and stuff like that, being real woke and conscious. So all of a sudden he starts becoming this thug now. So it's all about capturing you at the beginning and then doing these nefarious activities to get you into doing them too. Because again, what proof did you have that he was even in jail? Was he ever in jail before? How you know that wasn't a staged act? And then the whole thing of, after the whole Black Panther Party was, discontinued, or at least that faction of it was, He came out with the red and the blue. You know what the red and the blue is. But going back to what I was saying, because I got sidetracked. So you had you had all those movies, Panther that came out, all these movies that came out in the early '90s to promote Black Power. You know what I'm saying? And then they kind of brought it back with the whole Black Lives Matter movement again. What if that was scripted and created and it was planted there for whatever reason outside of the one you think it was? Then they started coming out with the Hate You Give, 12 Years a Slave, Django Unchained. What was that TV show? What was the TV show? Then they did Roots all over again. Like what are they doing this for? They even came out with Black Panther from Disney. Should Disney be a corporation to talk about anything about black issues when they have a long history of dealing with minstrel characters and very racially offensive? Should they be? Why are they in the whole thing about the Black Panther? Oh, because it's Marvel. And then y'all all was at the movie theater. Some of the some black people, y'all was in there in dashikis and kente cloths and Egyptian ankh earrings and stuff. But to me, it's all popcorn worthy. Two pop. So bring your own wokeness, man. Bring your own wokeness. Bring your own wokeness. Because he was from Death Row Records. So that means even these rap beefs that y'all like to get entrenched into, what if they're staged? And then y'all really be riding for the rapper. So you'll show up where the rapper is and then be his soldier. That's exactly what Riley says to Gangstalicious. And also to Thugnificent, which is another fictional rapper on the Boondocks show. Not knowing that all of that is scripted and fake. Or there for theatricality and deception. Just like the Batman Begins movie. When Ra's al Ghul is, talking to Bruce, theatricality and deception. So as I wrap this up here, I know he's your favorite rapper. I know you like Brenda's Got a Baby and Keep Your Head Up. You know what I'm saying? Dear Mama, you love that. You just don't think of that character as there's nothing wrong with him because he came out with those songs. There's nothing to he can never be sullied or dirtied, or his name can never be tarnished because he put out Dear Mama. And it's funny that he put that song out, or Keep Your Head Up, right before he was accused of accused of sexually assaulting a woman. So as you're watching these conspiracy theorist videos on YouTube, you might have some dual Gemini type of feelings where, yeah, this is entertaining, but is it real? Are they really talking about something? Because there's another one that's actually one of my favorites on here. It's called Hollywood Casting Satan's Playground or something like that, where the guy in the video is talking about how your favorite celebrities have to go through some sort of ritual involving very gutter sexual acts, the stuff you see in pornography, I guess, and they have to go through that in order to get all his fame and fortune and wealth. And he names a lot of your actresses and rappers that you wouldn't even, and athletes that you wouldn't even think that they would do something like that. Again, who knows if it's real? What this guy's talking about, I don't know. It was entertaining for sure, because it's that whole thing of Eyes Wide Shut, this intrigue and dark mysteriousness. It's just like Kanye West's album, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy. I kind of look at it like that. You know what I'm saying? And then this whole Kendrick Lamar album, this whole To Pimp a Butterfly, where he was sitting here writing a poem, or the whole album is about, because in certain songs he has him reciting this poem, that we find out that he's reciting this poem to Tupac in the last song of the album. And then they put in this interview that Pac had, it was a rare interview or whatever. So Kendrick was it is making it seem like Kendrick was having a modern day conversation with Tupac. But now that I've been shown the light about what that is, it's like, damn. Does Kendrick not know, or is he also part of the script? Kanye West's dad was a Black Panther. Yeah. He a Gemini. And the video from the industry hoax revealed said that the whole Black Panther Party was a fake creation by the government. But again, it's a conspiracy. But whatever you're gonna say about the guy who Lassane that played Tupac Shakur, he definitely deserved an Oscar for that performance. Because he played him in a serial, like it was not the actual serial, but like a serialized episodic show on the news and through his music. He went from being this revolutionary to being this thug life character that promoted thug and, objectifying women. And now there's people out here right now on the streets everywhere or in houses everywhere sitting here debating if Tupac is even dead or not. They think he's still alive in Cuba with Assata Shakur, who was also said to be an agent. So this is what I want you to do. You just want some entertainment. Just watch the whole Tupac hoax exposed thing on. I'm gonna give you the link in the description section. Watch it for entertainment, but I dare you to watch it for some detective work. Come with me, Hail Mary, the ways of the man. Follow me. Ambitions as an actor. He did go to school with Jenny. He was an actor. Hey, popcorn. Popcorn. With this video, were you not entertained?